People around here trust the shepherds. Jamie, Adam, and the other Jamie. They always have. The sheep trust them too. Gather round. I'll throw another log on the fire. Turn it up just a touch, cause another episode of the BHHcast is starting now.
Brand new episode of the BHHcast starts now. Jamie Bendel, Jamie Hernan, Adam. Hey! Our guest this episode is host of the Jeff Dwoskin Show, Mr. Jeff Dwoskin, award-winning podcaster and comedian. Top 25 Indie Podcast 2020 from Indie Pods United. Also won quite a few comedy competitions that he has appeared in. Finalists in Laugh Detroit, Laughing Skull competition right here in Atlanta, Georgia. Welcome to the show, Jeff.
Oh my God, great to be here. Hey, everyone.
Welcome.
What's up?
Detroit, Rock City.
Yeah, Detroit.
You feel like Detroit's kind of produced some pretty good comedians over the years?
Yeah, I think Detroit's produced a lot, and Michigan in general has produced a lot of good things over the years. Yeah, we've got some good comedians that have come out. John Heffron, he won Last Comic Standing. J. Chris Newberg is pretty big in comedy world and TV. Michigan happens to have like a ton of clubs, or at least it did at one point before a lot of them closed. So I think a lot of people could get a lot of practice and a lot of stage time in a shorter amount of period of time, so they could kind of accelerate a little bit. It goes without saying, and on top of the whole comedy scene and the great names that we've mentioned, you know, just all the music that's come out of Michigan as well is crazy.
Are you speaking specifically about Kid Rock?
I'm not specific. Actually not. But Motown. Here's, the crazy thing about Motown. I know everyone thinks Detroit and Motown, but all those people like Smokey and Diana Ross and all, they lived on the same block. They just happen to all live in the same area of town. I mean, it's crazy when you think about like the amount of talent that just happened to be living there and then was exposed and all that kind of stuff.
Before you go too far, the funny thing is, like, that's the truth of both Motown and like the whole Memphis blues movement too. Like if you look at like Stax Records and like Isaac Hayes and all the guys that came out of that, they were in the surrounding neighborhood. Like people just walked to the studio and said, "Hey, I can sing," and they said, "Oh, let's put you on a mic," and sure enough, like let's make gold records.
Yeah, I was talking to Mark Farner. He was the original lead singer of the power trio Grand Funk Railroad, which came out of Flint, Michigan. Mm-hmm. And we were talking about something similar. And what he was saying is a lot of families moved to Michigan to work in the auto industry. So it could be that in both places, it was a destination for families that needed careers and places to work and stability. And so they all came. So it became a little bit of a melting pot of people collecting in those areas. And that's why you have this, amount of talent.
So your thesis, if I understand correctly, is that Henry Ford's automation led directly to the creation of what we now know as Motown R&B.
Being Jewish, I'm hesitant to give Henry Ford any credit or anything, but
fair, that's fine. Okay, so for those that may be listening to the first time, this is a little bit of a game show oriented podcast. We do a series of lightning rounds. Very first round is 2 questions per host. Guest then gets to provide 6 answers. If extrapolation is warranted, it will be requested, and sometimes it is unwelcomed by one of the other participating hosts. Jeff, let's do a practice lightning round question. Clockwise or counterclockwise?
Clockwise.
All right, clockwise, starting with Jamie.
Jeff, which animal is most likely to listen to Motown music?
Oh, it isn't multiple choice. An elephant.
Quality. If you were to give us the best Detroit Piston of all time, can you explain to me why he wasn't on the Dream Team?
You know what? I'm not great at sports.
Oh, okay.
For a second there, I'm like, oh, I got one in my head, Isaiah Thomas. And then I was like, you said Dream Team, and you messed me up. Because I think he was on the Dream Team.
Okay.
The D on your hat is well recognized worldwide as the icon of the logo rather of the Detroit Tigers. What other city has a best first initial logo?
LA.
Okay. Both first initials.
We'll accept that.
Yeah, 2, but both first initials.
I blame that answer on the lack of clarification in Bendel's question. Just want to put that out there. Okay. All right. So, Jeff, you are at the Detroit Zoo and you're in the giraffe exhibit. And you see that there's a male giraffe who has just requested that a female giraffe pee in a cup. And at that very moment, a zoo attendant gives you control of the exhibit speaker section and asks you to play some music. What song do you play?
Sitting by the dock of the bay.
Good choice.
Whoa, that's an incredible choice. Other than Detroit, what is the best musical city in the country?
Philadelphia.
What is the best automobile make and model to ever come out of Detroit?
The Chrysler LeBaron.
Sweet.
Philadelphia was an interesting choice as
that's honestly a shocking choice, but we're going to get into the... I don't know.
The second best music city?
Yeah.
I think I could support Philadelphia.
Okay.
Well, I'm sure that Jeff can support Philadelphia. I'm just saying that I'm running through my head of Philly artists, and besides maybe Will Smith, I don't know Fresh Prince.
Yeah.
Boys to Men.
Oh, well, then there you go. Boys to Men and Will Smith. So what more do you need?
Hall & Oates? Is not Hall & Oates not from Philadelphia?
I think the dirty, dirty South of Atlanta, as well as New York and Los Angeles, are pretty much outranked by Will Smith and Boys to Men.
The level of shame I feel as soon as he said Boys to Men, because I've never been put in my place more than him saying Boys to Men and me saying,
be quiet, buddy.
Yeah.
Is my thing not on? Can you not hear me saying Hall & Oates?
Oh, I heard you say. I heard Hall & Oates. Yeah.
Okay.
There's Hall & Oates. There's the Hooters.
Yes, the Hooters, and we danced like a wave on the ocean. Romance.
Wow.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Harold Melvin and the Blue Notes.
Jeff did come prepared.
The Dead Milkmen. The Dead Milkmen.
Also, the Dead Milkmen.
Got the Dead Milkmen coming out of Philly.
Wow.
Philly's not so bad all of a sudden.
Yeah.
Not to mention that the Boys to Men who came from Philly,
lived on the same block.
Was the model for all the boy bands that followed. 98 Degrees.
Okay, wait a minute.
Now we've gone too far.
I would take issue with that.
Now we've gone way too far.
I
would
would
take
say,
issue, but you'd be wrong.
Yeah, before you
no,
take issue...
I don't think I am wrong.
Bendel, before you take issue, I just want to say I am 100% Team Jeff on this one.
Are we in the follow-up segment yet, or should we go ahead and cut the break?
98 Degrees, Boys to Men, they are all modeled after Boys to Men.
All right, I think we need to go to break, Bendel, and then we're going to come back and step into this a little more.
We'll have to definitely resolve some of this.
This is about to get crazy up in here.
We will be back with more of the podcast and the scandalous statement by our guest that modern boy bands are derived from the Boys to Men precedent. We'll set that straight when we return. All right, so how famous were any of the streets you grew up on? Was there any street near you where like 6 of the people turned out to start Facebook?
Honestly, the mean streets of Salt Lake City, Utah, they produced some incredible music. Mormon Tabernacle, maybe you've heard of them?
Never heard of them.
Do all the people in the Mormon Tabernacle live on the same block?
They all live it's called Tab Street.
Tab Street, wow. I'm picturing the situation like Motown where they're all on the same block, or like you're saying with Tab Street, where you've got someone who just has absolutely no musical talent. Yeah. And everybody starts moving in with this incredible talent.
Yeah.
And they're complaining of the nuisance. Enough of your absolutely brilliant, world-changing music.
Everyone said Mozart's neighbors hated him.
I was the greatest musician on this block till everybody else showed up.
Yeah, it's true.
Wouldn't that have been amazing if you could go back into times of yore and you found out that Brahms and Bach and Mozart all lived like within a block of each other?
Yes.
And they're down at like open mic night and you're like, yeah, geez, here's Mozart with another one of his concerto nonsenses. Which one are you going to play, number 9?
Come on, man, we've had it with 9. That's all you ever play.
Let me guess, your closer. Dun, 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 dun. Yeah, we've heard it.
Yeah, everybody's heard it. Like, we've heard it on this block all night long last night.
All right, let me ask you this. We're forming a band.
Yep.
Who is lead?
Really?
And who are the backups?
Who's the lead singer?
It's clearly me.
You?
Yes, of course. Have you not heard my sweet baritone?
Yeah, go ahead. Drop us some.
I don't think any band has a baritone as a lead.
No one has.
I would be lead singer because I can dance solo.
What?
I mean, it's unbelievable what I can do.
I'm trying to figure out what's the most ludicrous comments you've said tonight.
Hold on.
One is that you're a good singer.
I'm going to show you right now. Here we go.
Okay,
Ready?
hit it.
Let's go.
Yeah, you just broke something. You're ridiculous.
No, I did. Well,
yeah,
my
you
hip,
seriously
but-
knocked a bunch of stuff over.
Well, look. I don't control myself when I dance. The dance controls me.
I don't control the dance. The dance controls me. We should go back to the guest. Podcast resumes now. Very interesting first lightning round. A lot of ground covered, but we have to return now in the Tell Me More About segment. The statement that Jeff Dwoskin, our guest this evening, host of the Jeff Dwoskin Show, planted a flag.
He did.
And said that Boys to Men.
Well, first you said Philly was the second greatest music city in the country, but
After Detroit.
which you seem to support. I still take umbrage with, but then the Boys to Men, which, by the way, we have some sheep out in the field right now arguing about that very topic right now. There's lots of bucking, lots of kicking going on in the field.
One of the people arguing is Bendel.
Let me posit my counter argument.
Counter argument now.
We began the episode having a discussion about Motown.
We did.
And I would suggest that the doo-wop bands of the 50s and 60s were, in fact, the precursor to Boys to Men. So
Doo-wop?
Boys to Men was modeled on that style of singing.
Okay, but are you saying then that doo-wop give rise to Boys to Men, and then Boys to Men gives rise to all boy bands?
I'm saying if you were to say so let's go to BTS, right? Because I know Jeff is a big K-pop fan. But anyway, BTS right now is kind of
Yes.
the modern NSYNC. Start
How
going
do these
backwards.
BTS bands make money? There's 50 people in each band. How do they even make money?
It's a good question. I'm going to drop some Ritalin on this whole conversation, and let's just focus in on what you were talking about with regard to the boy band issue.
New Edition was first, then there was Boys to Men. If you want to go before that, I won't argue your point. I won't disagree. With your point about the old Motown groups being an inspiration for that type of group and harmony. But Boys to Men outdid New Edition, and then became the new de facto that the other bands built on.
That's right. That's fair.
So Jeff, tell us a little bit about. So it was podcast. It was comic first, and then podcast.
Yes, I started comedy, I guess 19 years ago, and podcasts kind of happened, because of COVID. Yeah, I had meant to do it like years earlier. I'd bought everything. It sat on my desk. I was like, I don't know if you guys are married, but it sat on my desk. All the wires, and it just sat there forever, literally years. And then my wife made me put it in a box. I do a lot on Twitter, and I have a social media company called #Stampede, #Roundup. And so we do a lot on Twitter and Instagram and stuff like that. And so I was going to do a podcast in 2017 called Viral Intentions. That was, it'll play on the movie Cruel Intentions and about going viral, that kind of thing. So I had everything, intro, outro, everything ready to go. And I just was lazy. I just sat on it. And so the pandemic happens. I find the box, I pull it out. I start to put everything back together. I'm going to finally do the podcast because I'm working from home now. I got all this time. And I realized, oh, wow, March 20th, kicking off a pandemic, horrible time to start a podcast called Viral Intentions.
Right.
So I ended up just kind of redoing it, and I changed what was going to be the whole idea of the podcast. Just became Live from Detroit, the Jeff Dwoskin Show, and just became like an interview thing. So I started reaching out to the comics I had talked to, and then reaching out to celebrities that I was interested in speaking to and stuff like that. So that's sort of how it came around. I haven't actually even gotten back into the comedy yet, just because I hadn't taken any gigs, because I skipped the first few rounds where everyone thought everything's fine, because I didn't feel it was fine.
Right.
And so so now how it is when the club's booked, so I missed a wave. So but I'm more focused on the podcast right now. So.
I feel like there was a rumor that got started that you could develop antibodies to COVID if you started a podcast.
Lots of people
American.
did. Actually, I think it's more along Jeff's line story, where a bunch of wives were saying, get that box out of the garage, or I'm either throwing it away or you're going to do something with it.
Right. It's just like once I started, then now I have, I've done like at episode 62.
Yeah.
It was just a matter of like getting going. That's the hardest part about anything, right?
I've actually been reading a interesting book by the guy who wrote Legend of Bagger Vance. And he wrote this book called The War of Art. And it's all about creative resistance and how so many people who are in artistic fields, and I would include podcast creation as being an artistic endeavor, that it's super easy to procrastinate on. And that there's just a certain amount of whatever the creative endeavor is just kind of buckle down and get started. And before you know it, you look up and you have 62, then 620, and then more than 1,000, or, so it's definitely it's kind of like making cars, right? Right. That first factory is like, I built this giant factory. I should probably do something with it.
Right. It's just at some point you got to say, let's make the first Chrysler LeBaron.
Right.
And you just do it.
You just do it.
You just got to do it. All right. More with host of Live from Detroit, the Jeff Dwoskin Show. For Jamie, and Adam, don't go anywhere. We are returning momentarily.
So we're now at 30 plus episodes, and we have had generally very good feedback. But we just got our first 1-star review, which was no name, no comment, just a 1-star review on Apple Podcasts.
Joke's on you, 1 star. You obviously cared enough about us to write something trashy.
I don't even think I think it was a misclick.
You think?
I think they were viewing it on a 1 is the best, 5 is the worst scale.
Oh, yeah. It's probably some of our European listeners.
Person probably new to podcasting.
Does that mean we have really, really bad reviews and everybody just gave us 5 stars?
No.
In America's 5 stars is right. It's like kilometers, miles.
Yeah.
Okay.
But probably, it could have been a new mouse.
There's this guy in Scandinavia right now that's going, #1, podcast, #1.
Yeah.
Good job, Sven. Thanks for calling in.
Look, 1 star is better than no stars.
I don't think you can do no stars.
Well, by not giving a review.
Right. So
But I think we should embrace the 1-star.
You know what else has 1 star? Russian Empire.
Texas.
Are you a commie?
What are you saying? You want to somehow, we're like the Vladimir Putin of podcasts?
I don't feel like I was going there, but
I'd rather be dead than red.
I'd rather be unlistened to than 1 star.
Yeah.
No, wait a minute. No, I want the 1 star. I'm going to tell an advertiser that person counts as a download. So we appreciate your 1 star helping us achieve our financial dominance.
Yes.
And by financial dominance, I would say just
brown bags of
minimal,
cash.
brown bags of cash.
All right, it is the second lightning round segment here on the podcast. Jamie, and Adam, our guest this evening, host of Live from Detroit, the Jeff Dwoskin Show. All right, Jeff, pretty much same as the first time we did lightning rounds. However, this time there are 3 questions per host. In-depth questions, short answers preferred. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Would you like to change directions from round 1? You chose clockwise round 1. Do you want to stick with clockwise or flip it and reverse it?
I would like to stick with clockwise, please.
Sticking with clockwise, we are going to start with Jamie.
Jeff, you're in the grocery store and you're in the produce section, and the grocery clerk is being held at gunpoint by a madman who says that he will let her go if you can put an animal in the produce scale that will weigh exactly 2 pounds. He gives you time to find an animal, and there happens to be a pet store, a zoo, and a forest immediately next door to the grocery store. Which animal do you bring to put onto the scale?
A mid-sized raccoon.
Oh.
Mid-size. Not the SUV, not the full size, not the economy, but the mid-size raccoon.
Right.
Right. Which era of history would you choose to live in other than the present?
Which era of history?
Yes.
Your?
In years of yore? Okay, excellent.
I like that.
In years of yore.
I also like the technique in the lightning round. Repeating the
lightning
question
round.
is
It's
a good
lightning
way
round.
to get yourself a little extra time.
These are high-speed questions and
Can you
answers.
say the question in a sentence, please?
Okay. Jamie, you, go.
I just want to comment. I don't know if you guys saw 18 people killed in India by lightning, where they had all gone to take selfies of a lightning show that was taking place behind them. So they all climbed up to the top of this tower, and then the tower was struck by lightning, and they all died.
Bendel, this round is sponsored by lightning. That's
Yeah.
our sponsor.
Oh
Yeah.
man.
And they're
Dang it.
kind of embarrassed. They got a whole PR
Actually-
movement
Yeah.
going right now.
Oh, I want to point out that our sponsor murdered 18
people in India.
Yeah.
Thank
That's
you very
cool.
little.
No problem.
All right, you're having a dinner party. Worst possible guest to include at a dinner party is
Hitler.
Okay, so I had these questions prepared in advance. So you said that you're not into sports. So this question, I don't know if we'll. I mean, I think this one, classic Detroit. You got to.
We can try.
How many Tigers would be needed to take out Bill Laimbeer?
3.
3 Tigers. I think that's the correct answer. And there's a follow-up question. Get over it. There's a follow-up question.
Don't do follow.
There's a follow-up question. It's on the paper. Which animal most closely resembles Laimbeer?
A sloth.
Nice.
Would you rather be incredibly talented at singing, painting, writing, or sewing?
Oh, it's a tough one. I'd say singing early in my life and sewing later in my life.
Okay. I mean, sewing. Sure.
All right, so we have time. If you could sing a song and then also sew something from us, and we'll tell you which one we think you're better at.
Which ones you're doing better at right now? Yeah.
Motown Philly back again.
Oh, sure. Goes to Boys to Men, of course.
Yeah.
talk about setting somebody up. So you're feeding him the ball. This segment.
This is audio only at this point, but you should see what he's sewing right now. He literally just.
Oh my God.
That is incredible.
Is that? That's
Give me 3 more minutes and it'll be a scarf.
Hold on a second.
Wait,
That's
no.
incredible.
Is that Michael Jordan taking the shot for the final championship?
That's
oh my God.
That's beautiful.
How does he do the fadeaway?
Unbelievable. Back to you, Bronny.
That's you, Bendel.
That's you, Bendel.
All right. What is your favorite produce?
Pineapple?
The mythological winged horse, Colima, is said to be
Whoa. I thought a mythological winged horse was a Pegasus.
No. There may be a mythological winged horse called Pegasus, but there is also a mythological...
It's not called Pegasus. It is a Pegasus.
Okay.
Well, that's Greek. Maybe he's doing
You're
non-Greek.
doing something else?
Maybe mine's North Korean.
Is that what you're doing? North Korean?
It is what I'm doing.
Wow. Okay.
And I'll tie it all back to Detroit. Watch what happens.
The well-known North Korean winged horse.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean,
So the mythological winged horse Colima, which I'm pretty sure I'm pronouncing that correctly, is said to be a national symbol of...
North Korea.
Oh, so you know. Although it is supposedly a mythical creature, do you think that Kim Jong-un took Dennis Rodman on a pony ride and suggested it was a Colima?
Yeah, absolutely.
And
And Dennis Rodman believed it.
My God, look at my follow-up question. Just read my follow-up question right there.
The question is, if so, do you think Dennis Rodman believed it?
Wow.
I mean, that's literally, we're talking, you guys are on a different level right now.
Yeah, incredible.
You're like a mentalist.
That's incredible. Maybe we bring that to the show. Jeff does mental check.
Yeah,
Okay,
clear
Jeff,
my
go
mind.
ahead. My question.
Oh, your question, it blew.
Oh, he's actually right. It did blow. Okay. That was a horrible question. No, my question is, where's your favorite place to sit in your house?
Oh, my favorite place to sit in my house
Yeah.
is the couch in my family room, but in the center. of
Oh, in the
couch.
center, not on the arms.
Not on the arms, no.
Wow. That's
the
an
sense.
uncommon choice.
Yeah, can we? Yeah, I realize we're lightning here, but I'm going to dig into that a little bit.
You
Yeah.
should.
That's,
No, go ahead right now.
That's somebody who likes to sit in the hump. So, on the hump seat. So, why in the middle?
Well, maybe you're not used to expensive couches, but this doesn't really have a...
Oh, I'm sorry. Did you just... You just giving me the podcast elitist move? Yeah, maybe we don't have a zillion followers yet. Maybe we're not a big deal like you, Jeff. Sorry. We don't have all the followers you have. But yes, I don't have expensive couches.
Maybe I understand. Maybe we're just coming from different points. We're just coming from different lifestyles. That's all. No, I'm kidding. It's... Well, let me preface, because you're probably picturing a straight couch, and my couch is a wrap around couch, right? So it's it kind
Sectional? Is it a sectional?
Oh, so you're talking corner piece, which is clearly the best spot.
Yeah, are you talking an actual curved couch?
Yeah, like is
Like a horseshoe.
Is it?
Sectional?
Yeah, not like a full horseshoe, but yeah, like a
It's a complete
it's-
circle. You can't
yeah.
get into it. You got to climb over it.
So
Yeah.
that middle area. I see. We were picturing different couches. That was the issue.
Oh, I
Yeah,
see.
the center couch of what you're picturing. Yes, I agree. That would have been the bad choice.
Okay, but for the couches of the rich and famous, The middle is
Yeah,
good.
and I concede my going that direction was unnecessary.
He doesn't even know what you're talking about when you're saying hump seat because
Yeah.
he's used to the
I'm like,
curve
I'm
in the
sorry,
limo.
I don't understand.
Right.
I have the infinity couch.
No, he's in the limo in the car. He's got that corner seat there, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
Jamie.
Jeff,
And be careful, Bendel. He's on fire. Nobody is safe.
why are there no hypnotists that are feature acts?
Oh, because there are, but they just convince everyone that they're the headliner.
Shots
You've been
fired.
hypnotized.
Do you believe in hypnotism?
Do I believe in it?
Yeah,
Yes.
do you think it works?
No.
Yeah. And you're back. right.
You won't believe the question you asked him.
I heard it was not too good.
No, it wasn't. He didn't like it at
It
all.
blew. All right.
It did. It was terrible.
So Jeff, where are people going to find you?
They can find me online at jeffisfunny.com. That's a show website. You can also go to jeffdwoskinshow.com, but I figure you can't spell my name. So I have supplied jeffisfunny.com. It can take you there. But Live from Detroit, the Jeff Dwoskin Show is on all the podcast apps, Apple, Spotify, iHeart, wherever you do your podcasting, you can find us there. But if you need a launching spot, go to jeffisfunny.com.
That's funny with a PH?
No, with an FU. I also do a live show every Wednesday, 9:30 Eastern on YouTube via the Jeff Dwoskin Show channel called Crossing the Streams. It's a bunch of us, and we give TV show and movie recommendations that you should be streaming on any of the channels. We have rotating guests. We'd love to have you guys can come and guest on the show. That'd be
fun. Okay. Well, so Jeff, we really appreciate you coming on. It would be a lot of fun to come on your show. I can't say your show because I feel like you have 6 or 7 different shows.
He's got them all. Yeah,
he's got them all. He's got them all covered.
Any of the above.
Yeah,
we're seriously desperate. We'll do anything.
All right, we'll have you. Crossing the Streams. We'll make it happen.
We will throw ourselves out to any podcast out there.
Well, Jeff, thanks very much for coming on. We really appreciate your time.
Oh, thanks for having me. This is a lot of fun.
Yeah,
Good luck on getting back out on the road, and hopefully comedy clubs will be pretty much as you left them.
I hope so.
Hopefully.
So.
All right, so check it out. Live from Detroit, the Jeff Dwoskin Show. Thank you so much for joining us. And Sheep, stay tuned. There is always a new episode around the corner here of the BHHcast. Don't wander too far. Taka taka.
Taka taka sheep.
Fire is getting low. This episode of the BHHcast is over. Time to go home now, sheep. Go on, back to where you came from. We'll call you back when it's time for another BHHcast. Taka taka.